What is up, everybody? Whee! I gotta get an intro or something at some point. My dog's looking at me. He's adorable. But anyway, I just got back from Gen Con a few days ago, so it's becoming a little bit less relevant as the days go on, but I've been really busy, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk, I know, Mako. He's so cute. Look at him. I know. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Let's not show my messy room. So anyway, I got back from Gen Con recently, and I just want to talk about it. Let's just have a conversation. There's a lot of stuff to go over, just the con itself, the new ODSTs that launch. Holy crap, who thought that was going to happen? I definitely did not. Pretty insane. We're going to talk about maybe some stuff I talked with Mantic about, which is super interesting that you guys might want to know. And we're going to talk about the tournament, the GT that I went to on Saturday at Gen Con, which is a lot of fun. Spoiler, I did pretty well. But anyway, let's talk about first some of the events that I'm going to be attending. So I just attended Gen Con. I will also, last minute decision, I will also be attending Lone Star Open in Texas. Dallas, Texas, I believe. And so this was a very spur of the moment thing. Jesse from the Truth and Reconciliation podcast reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to go. I told him no, like Gen Con was the week before, the expenses and stuff like that. But then I went to Gen Con, talked to Kyle from the Truth and Reconciliation group and Bradley from also the group, and decided that I'm going to go. I'm going to go with them. So keep that in mind. When you got friends doing the same things that you're doing, you're more likely to do them. It's crazy. So going to Dallas, Texas for that. And that's going to be really exciting. It's hopefully tickets are still available. So if you're in the Dallas area, you can still attend that GT Halo Flashpoint tournament. We have, I think, over 20 players at this point. And if we get over 22, I believe that will be the largest Halo Flashpoint tournament ever so far, because Adepticon we had 22 participants. I would love for their first, Jesse's and Kevin's first tournament to be the biggest that ever was in the Halo Flashpoint community. Anyway, I digress. I'm really excited to go and hopefully get some coverage of that too. Then after that, I'm going to be attending the Games for Life tournament in Lake Orion, Michigan. It is a SWAT tournament, which is awesome, so just no shields. Those are the rules, so I'll be attending that. Really excited, especially with the new brutes with their high health, to try to experiment with those for that. Then after that, we have the Michigan GT in Lansing, Michigan, I'm pretty sure. And that's going to be really exciting. So it's a GT that's specific to Michigan, and Halo Flashpoint will be there, so I'm going to be excited for that. And so far, I think that is all the tournaments. That one's going to be happening, I think it's September. But I think that's all the tournaments that I'm attending so far. Who knows? Maybe I'll go to LVO. I wasn't planning to go to Dallas, but maybe I'll go to LVO now. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. All right, but enough about what I'm doing. Let's talk about what I did at Gen Con. Fun thing, Gen Con, it's my second year going. First year, I went to grab Halo Flashpoint the first time. This year, I just had just as much fun. And I was able to go to the Mantic booth. And speaking of the Mantic booth, of course, they're showing off those super nice new Halo ODSTs. I always have to put Halo in front of it. They're just ODSTs, the Orbital Drop Shock Troopers that everyone knows about now. I'm going to leave a link. Actually, a few links in the description below of like 3 or 4 content creators just talking about the new ODSTs, because I'm not going to go over all the information here. They do it way better. I've listened to all 4 of them, and yeah, they're just all great. And they all have different opinions. But man, these ODSTs, yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought we would have gotten these ODSTs, right? That's incredible. The flamethrower guys, the jetpacks, just the poses, they really, really feel like the game Halo ODST. They look kind of clunky, right? Like Halo ODST. And I don't know, I just feel like they captured the feel of those models so well that I can't not just be so stoked about those models. But yes, I got to see them up close, and they are definitely smaller than Spartans, smaller bases, just smaller profile overall. But they look super cool with Dare. I was able to see Dare up close too, and Buck I think was in there. Not 100% sure if they had a model of Buck. They all kind of look the same. Now, one of the cool things about attending the tournament on Saturday is, well, I got to talk to a lot of the Mantic team members, and I swear if you guys love this game and you just want to know more about this game, attend these tournaments at the big cons, even the little cons. Your Pathfinder members will be there, sometimes at like smaller tournaments. You find out so many juicy things. Now, I might talk about these things in a later video or as they kind of release, but there's been a lot of rumors that have been floating around along this game, and I'm very excited for all of them. Now, some of the things I am going to talk about is that they were telling me that the Halo Flashpoint ODST box set has been extremely successful just in the short days that it's been available for pre-order. It has outsold the Banish and the Spartan box combined. I don't know if those are really like real statistics, but maybe just in pre-orders in like the first week. But nonetheless, the ODST box has been the most successful pre-order for them. Definitely over the Banish box. And who wouldn't have guessed that? ODSTs are one of the coolest units in the entire Halo universe. And now we get to play them. Well, in October, you know, maybe November, we get to play them. But they also told me that the reason they're releasing ODSTs is because so many people wanted them. That's super important. That means we have a say on what they could possibly bring to Halo Flashpoint. They're listening to us, guys. That's exciting, right? What if they were just going to continue the Halo Infinite timeline, but we spoke up as a community and asked for ODSTs, and they delivered? That's a callback to Halo 1, by the way. And because they said that ODSTs have been doing so well right now as far as pre-orders, Microsoft has become a little bit more lenient on what they decide to bring to the game. Guys, like, there's busting down walls that there's nothing holding us back now. Microsoft obviously really loves money, so with the success of the ODST pre-orders, the sky's the limit. And if you guys really think about it, when it comes to releases, you had the Recon Edition that kind of released early at Gen Con with just the Spartans, and then they released the Spartan Edition with Elites in it. So you had UNSC, then you had Spartans with Elites. Then after the Elites released in the Spartan Edition, you had a Wave 2 of the Spartans in War Games come out by themselves. And then after the Spartans came the Brutes that Banished. So when you think about it, it was kind of UNSC, then Banished. Then UNSC, and then Banished. Now the ODSTs were announced, UNSC. I mean, if you think about it, that's... What do I expect next? I don't know. I feel like it's fairly obvious that hopefully after ODSTs we're getting another Banish release. I don't know. All I know is I feel like you can't have ODSTs without smaller chaff units like Grunts and Jackals to beat up, right? And one more thing that I want to talk about before we start talking about the tournament is you guys and myself, we are so lucky. I talked to a lot of these Mantic team members, and we are so lucky to have so many people passionate about this game that work at Mantic. The ideas that they've told me, the pitches that they've told me that they've pitched to Microsoft and Mantic just blow my mind, and it makes me so stoked for the next year, 2 years, 3 years of Halo Flashpoint, because of the people behind it are so passionate about it that it just good thing. I mean, we're already seeing it with like the waves, right? Or not the waves, the seasons, with 8 game types coming out in these new seasons every season. At least 8 game types. Like, that's crazy. We already have some. Husky Raid, one of my favorite game types, is coming out next season. Blowing my mind. I don't want to say my Husky Raid map influenced that decision, but you know I'm going to be playing Hold On. I'm sorry, I'm so excited. All right, enough teasing. So let's talk about the GT, the Grand Tournament. Now, keep in mind this, when I tell you how well I did, keep in mind this tournament was actually split up into 2 days. We had 2 separate tournaments, one on Friday, one on Saturday. On Friday, Tim from the Truth and Reconciliation podcast won first place. And I know some of the guys that played only on Friday, and these guys are some of the best when it comes to Halo Flashpoint. They didn't end up playing Saturday, but these guys I trust so much that when they came to view the Saturday tournament, I was asking them questions. So congratulations to all of them. I think they had about 12 to 14 people playing that tournament. Then came my Saturday tournament, and let's go over my list real quick. Here is at least a photo of my list that I used on the Saturday tournament. It is a 3-man list. We have a JFO, we have a grenade launcher Gungnir, and we have the CQB with the hammer. Let's start off with the JFO. Now the JFO had the concussion rifle. I made sure to give him the quantum translocator, which is kind of the meta with him right now. It's really the meta overall. I saw some of the lists in the tournaments, and there's just quantum translocators everywhere. He's got the quantum translocator, and I gave him a grapple shot just so he can really be that good objective player. Now, I also gave him an assault rifle because it just gives me another avenue for suppression and pinning, especially for oddball. That suppression makes you drop the ball if you get hit by it, which is super important. This was kind of a last-minute add. So thankful I did it. This absolutely necessary. Then we have my Gungnir. My Gungnir just has the grenade launcher, and I gave him the skewer. I just got my banish box the day before Gen Con, so I swapped out some of my list, and instead of a Spartan laser, I gave him the skewer, which I thought would just be a lot more fun to play with. But I ended up giving him the threat sensor, and honestly, well, I don't want to spoil it, but for it really only came in handy in like 1 or 2 games. Now both these models, my JFO and my Gungnir, they had the combat knife. Just in case they got into a scrap, I wanted them to be effective killers in close combat. And last but not least, we have the CQB with the hammer. He's going to have the grapple shot, and he's going to have the thruster pack. I have played with this CQB so many times to know that he gets pinned all the time. He gets grenaded all the time, so I had to make him as fast as possible. A little bit less durable because I like to throw that hard light shield on him, but he's a fast boy now. Nothing's going to stop this guy. And just in case they do, I made sure to give him that fuel rod cannon just so he can pew-pew from 4 cubes away, cause some scattering. Just makes him a little bit more versatile. He only has to hit the cube with 5s, which also, spoiler alert, I miss sometimes. But it definitely helped out in the end. Last but not least, I did pay 10 points to get an extra command die for the whole entire game. And basically, that is my 3-man list, all decked out. I was able to play basically these 3 models to their fullest extent, which is the way I like to play, rather than 4 models where you can kind of just choose one model to give upgrades to, and then you kind of SOL with all the other ones or have very little upgrades. I like to play 3 models that I can fully upgrade to the way that I like them. Now we'll quickly go over my games. I'm not going to go super in depth. My first game was a CTF match, and I got first turn, which meant that I was going to do the quantum locator trick with the JFO, scout 1 cube, use the quantum translocator, then sprint 3 cubes, then use the grapple shot, then use the command die to move 1 extra die, pick up the flag, quantum translocate back, and I pretty much almost had a score in the first turn. Only took the second turn for me to do that. I ended up doing that twice in that game, giving me a pretty early lead, and eventually I was able to score that 3rd flag. My opponent here was a really good sport with me playing the meta, and we ended up being able to talk quite a bit after the game because it ended so early. And those are some of the best things that I like about going to these conventions. Game 2 was Slayer, and I gotta be honest, I was really nervous with this one. Ukulele Pat from the Truth and Reconciliation group was my opponent, and he had a Gungnir with a Spartan laser, and man, that thing just shreds. You basically just need to fail 1 or 2 saves, and you're just demolished. But I put up a really good fight with my Skewer Gungnir. Super fun. Basically, this list with command dice, I was fishing for extra shoots and extra movements, and that's it. So in this Slayer game, I was able to use both of these to my advantage. About halfway through the match, I was actually losing, but I was able to maneuver tactically and go behind some cover for the majority of the game to try to avoid that Splazer and shoot him through the wall with my Skewer using an extra command dice almost twice every round. And unfortunately, it only took a few whiffs of him rolling poorly with his Spartan laser for me not to die and be able to get some extra points at the end, which gave me a score of 16 to 8. Now my third game I was even more worried about because it was against an opponent that I faced already, who beat me already. His name is Dave. He ended up winning the whole tournament, and I was really nervous because he was such a good player against me last time. And the game this time was Strongholds, which is my worst game, with only 3 models, and he had 4. He did end up pulling out the win here, but it was close till the very end. It came down to basically a 4-point difference, and if I were able to get on the middle 4-point square, I could have tied him, and the game would have ended. But the importance of paying attention to your opponent's command dice is very valuable, because he snapshotted me so much that game, pinned me, and I wasn't able to do anything, so I ended up like contesting when I could have really stolen some of these strongholds and won me the game. He was a very tactical player, and he definitely deserved the win in the end. And my last game was against a gentleman named Kyle, who's also from the Truth and Reconciliation group. But Kyle was there, and he ended up using the new banished models, the new brutes. He used Aatrox and a couple of the brutes. And this game was oddball, and he got first turn, and he just charged Aatrox up there to grab the oddball. With a mixture of command dice and the Alliance special order, he was able to get there and grab that oddball first turn. And let me tell you, Aatrox is a beast, especially when he's holding an oddball, and he has active camo, which he activated on Aatrox. I basically had to melee him to death, and for 2 rounds, I couldn't get a single point. Aatrox just kept on holding that ball, and I just couldn't kill him, and he ended up getting some points by killing me with the ball. I for sure thought it was over. Unfortunately, at this point, I was like so tired, and I unfortunately thought it was over, but I kept on trying, and I just kept on meleeing him with my CQB and my other Spartans, and eventually I was able to kill him once, pick up the ball for 3 points, and then somehow be able to grab the ball and make up enough points to tie the game in the end, which is beyond me. At this point, I was running on 2 hours of sleep. I was so tired. I feel so bad for Kyle because I was just like so dazed and out of it. But I was able to scrounge up some points to tie him in the end. Kyle was such a good sport about that, and it was just one of my favorite games overall that day because, for one, I got to fight the brutes, and it was such a close game that that it just made a huge difference, and it was super fun. But that's it. I ended up with 2 wins, a draw, and a loss, which put me at 2nd place out of the 12 participants that were in the GT on Saturday. Had a ton of fun. I can't wait to do it again in Lone Star Open. But other than that, stay tuned to the channel. I am working on a banished map for Halo Flashpoint. Really excited about it. Just got my banished units in, so I'm going to paint those up too. But I'm going to be working on that and whatever else news that I decide to put on this channel. But otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.